In the final days of World War II, as the Allies closed in on Nazi Germany, a new war was already beginning. Not on the battlefield, but in the laboratories and minds of the world's greatest scientists. The United States launched a secret mission. One so controversial that its full truth remained hidden for decades. It was called Operation Paperclip, a covert operation to bring Nazi scientists to America. Not to prosecute them, but to recruit them. This is the hidden story of how America partnered with former enemies in a race for global domination. And how the pursuit of power blurred the lines between morality and ambition. World War II was over. Germany had surrendered, and the Allies stood victorious. But beneath the celebration, the world was entering a new era of suspicion, secrecy, and science. The Cold War had begun. The United States and the Soviet Union, once allies, were now rivals, each determined to outpace the other in weapons, technology, and intelligence. And at the center of that race were the German scientists who had pushed the boundaries of warfare and rocketry during the Nazi regime. The question was no longer about justice. It was about who would get to them first. Operation Paperclip was born out of desperation and opportunity. Under the command of the Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency, the U.S. began identifying top Nazi scientists, engineers, and doctors, offering them sanctuary in America, in exchange for their knowledge. These were not minor figures. Many had deep ties to the Nazi Party. Some had even used slave labor, and were complicit in war crimes. But in the eyes of American intelligence, they were assets. Puzzle pieces to unlock the future of warfare and space travel. The operation wasn't just secret. It was deceptive. Criminal records were wiped. Nazi affiliations were erased. Official documents were rewritten. The name Paperclip came from the paperclips used to attach the scientists' altered files. The U.S. military quietly transported these men, over 1,600 in total, across the Atlantic. They were placed in top-secret facilities, given new lives, and welcomed into American institutions. To the public, they were just brilliant minds from abroad. The truth remained buried in classified files. The most famous name? Wernher von Braun. A former SS officer and the lead developer of Hitler's V-2 rocket, the same rockets that terrorized London. In America, von Braun became the father of the U.S. space program. He was instrumental in launching the first American satellite. And later, the Saturn V rocket that sent astronauts to the moon. Another name? Hubertus Struckholt, a Luftwaffe doctor involved in horrific experiments. In the U.S., he became a pioneer in aerospace medicine. These men were rewarded, praised, even celebrated. The crimes of their past were hidden beneath layers of redacted history. The Soviets weren't blind. They had their own version of Operation Paperclip. It was called Operation Osavika. They too captured German scientists and used them to develop ballistic missiles and other technologies. The race wasn't just for land or ideology anymore. It was for the minds that could shape the future. This scientific arms race birthed the space race, the nuclear arms race, and ultimately, the technological foundations of the Cold War. When fragments of Operation Paperclip leaked decades later, the public was stunned. How could America, the self-declared defender of freedom, welcome Nazi war criminals into its fold? The government justified it as a necessary evil. A choice between justice and survival. But critics argued it betrayed the very values the U.S. claimed to stand for. Were we protecting the world from tyranny? Or simply repackaging it under a different flag? Today, the legacy of Operation Paperclip is both undeniable and deeply unsettling. It fueled America's technological dominance, from military supremacy to landing on the moon. But it also raised questions about ethics, accountability, and how far a nation will go in the name of power. It reminds us that history is rarely black and white. More often, it's classified. Operation Paperclip wasn't a myth. It wasn't a theory. It was real. And it shaped the modern world in ways most will never realize. As files are slowly declassified and new truths surface, we are reminded that sometimes, the most dangerous secrets are the ones hiding in plain sight. This was Black Files. If you're ready to go deeper into the world's hidden truths, subscribe, and prepare to question everything.